All right, welcome back to the Fitness Business Blueprint podcast. I have decided to bring on a very special guest to share a lot of cool information to help you grow your gym. So,
Mm.
on the podcast today, we have Dustin Bogle, who is a has experience growing gyms. He scaled 6 gyms in 6 years, and now uses a lot of that knowledge and has a whole service helping other gym owners to help with all sorts of things we're going to talk about today, but primarily helping you get more leads, make more money with your ads, get those leads qualified and booked in so you can make a lot more money and grow your gym a lot faster. So great to have you, Dustin. And how are you doing today?
Yes. Let's do this, man. I'm excited. And as we learned chatting offline, two washed up indie pro wrestlers sharing a podcast together. Funny. Yeah. So for the listeners, what we're talking about is, WWE pro wrestling. Me and Justin, funny enough, both have done that in the past before we went all in on fitness. And funny, Justin, like I actually put my deadline on myself. I said, if I don't have a big contract or opportunity in front of me at age 28, I'm going to walk away from wrestling. And I don't know where I got that number, but in my mind, wrestling's a young man's game. And if you don't get in when you're young, you're probably not going to get in. There's definitely, outlier stories of, like DDP got into it when he was in his 40s, but it's not the norm. And I wanted to make sure that I, had a steady paycheck. So I had always done personal training on the side. I actually used to go to people's homes and train them. And then eventually I got a job as a personal trainer at a retirement community where you had to be 55 or older to live. And at their clubhouse, I ran all the classes. And one of the things that I did build in that time was empathy for them because, they just have a lot more physical conditions. And there was people like when I eventually left, I didn't realize how normal it was, but people died all the time there. And it's because they just aged out. It wasn't anything major. It's just they were 70, they were 80, it was their time. And that became so normal to me, like death started to not sting as much. And then when I went back and I had my own gym and I was working with people 30 and 40, I'm like, oh, this is great. No one's died in a while. Like
Haven't lost
everyone's,
anyone.
yeah. So, I did that, and then what I was doing on the side was saving to open my first gym, and that was around 2000. So I became a trainer in 2004, opened my first gym in 2011, and then as you said in the beginning, I scaled to 6 gyms in 6 years, and a lot of that I definitely attribute to dialing in the skill of meta ads and marketing. But also to get to that many, you got to duplicate yourself. And I know I was also able to create a checklist and an SOP for client experience where everyone got a pretty similar experience to working with me, but someone else was doing that. And I think, again, that would probably be the second, if not the number one thing gym owners struggle with. Because if they get their marketing dialed in and the experience isn't great, it doesn't matter how many leads or how many sales. Client experience to me is everything. It's the crown on the whole business. So yeah, that's just a funny little backstory. But like, whether someone listening to this is like a believer or not, to me, when I did at 28, completely just went cold turkey on wrestling, stopped taking bookings, told everyone I'm done, and went all in on my fitness business. That's when the scale happened. And it's almost like God was saying, this was not what you were meant to do. Like, I'm glad you enjoy it, but this is where I have plans for you. And again, when it becomes so much friction, I wasn't like getting anywhere and I was trying so hard to becomes almost frictionless. That's like a sign that you're doing your calling, right? And that there's momentum there. So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
little bit of background.
There's so many wrestling questions I want to ask, but I'm gonna keep it focused on fitness for now.
Yes.
Gonna make it like a shoot interview otherwise.
Yes,
But
exactly.
yeah, so you've scaled 6 gyms. You know that I think according to my market research, that puts you pretty much in the top 1% of things that most gym owners never accomplish, right? And so for you, do you want to tell us a little bit about that story and in particular how I always like, as a multiple gym owner myself, I always like to hear others' experience of going from one location to two.
Yes.
And then what was it like going from like two on to six then?
It's good you're separating that because it is a different animal. I think I'm very expansive, and I know you are too. That we don't think that one is enough. We want to put a lot of flags on the map. It's almost like the new age of being a conqueror. Like Genghis Khan wanted to go conquer people and take over countries. Like, and for us, our version of conquering is growing a business and impacting a lot of people. So I think it's just that little, conqueror trait, if you will. Like, I want more like, map coverage. I want to impact more people. So, yeah, when I had one, which this is a good story for everyone about going into business with family, I actually saved up half the money to open my first gym. My mom, she was willing to loan me the other half. And I think like I got a small 1,500 square foot, maybe it was even 12. Back then in 2011, with rent and everything, I was going to be able to do it for like 40 or 50K. And so I said, I got half. Mom, I'm done working for people. I need to go do my own thing. Would you loan it? And so she dangled the carrot. She said, yes, if, big if, you go into business with your brother and you guys could do 50-50 because he's working at a vitamin shop. It's kind of a dead end job. I don't see a career there. I want him to do something more meaningful. Like, will you do it? And I was so hungry to get the gym open, I took it. And big mistake was that because once we got into business, he would cover the morning sessions, I would cover the evening and do all the marketing. I quickly realized we have a different appetite for growth and expansion. Like I was like already thinking, pack this place out, get to number two. And he was very small thinking like just one, be happy. And that, as you know, is going to end up being oil and water. And that's exactly what happened. I actually had to have a talk with him and say, hey, I'm actually going to give you this gym, the money in the business account, all the members. I'm actually going to make it harder on me because I lived a block from that gym. It was really nice. I'm going to go to the next city over and open my own gym, new brand, because I can see we're not going to make good business partners. And that was very difficult, but it was much needed. Went and opened that gym, packed it out within a year, and went on to open location two. And to your point, location two, I could still drive between the two. I could spend half the week at one and half the week at the other, have some of that, owner energy on site. But it all definitely got stretched when we go to three. Three is where like it is, you have to operate literally. I will not be going into them and doing anything that's key to the day-to-day operations. I cannot open, I cannot close, I cannot run a session. And I almost would challenge an owner operate with that mindset on location one because you will be happier because the beauty is you're at that building stage. You choose to build yourself a job or build yourself a business that runs without you. And we all just choose to run it because we want to think about like, hey, I'm going to keep it lean. I'm going to keep expenses down. But again, I'm more like I'm okay with risk. I know everyone isn't. I would literally just go get a bigger loan and get like the 6 months I need to pay a trainer or two to run that so that it frees me up to not be in there. I would just take on more debt or save longer. That's what I would do going back. I wouldn't, run it off of my back running all the sessions from day one. So yeah, that's where you can stretch yourself. But from three to six, it definitely became a talent game and a marketing game. I had to multiply more trainers and more leaders, managers for each one. And I had to learn that that is a whole nother funnel that no one really ever talks about in business. It's all about marketing customers, selling customers. You got to market to get team. You got to sell people your vision. You got to train them, right? Like how you train a customer how to be a good client. And so I quickly realized these are the two funnels. There's just one that's invisible in the back end, and then there's one to get customers. That's the secret to scale is you got to master both funnels. And yeah, so that's the difference of the two.
Yeah, one thing I always say to gym owners at that level is your team become your new clients. Because
Yes,
you
very
know that
much
when you've
so.
got the team, you're waking up and you're doing everything for them to put food on their table,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Your
very
role
well
is,
said.
give yeah, like giving my team members a great place they can stay and earn and grow.
And
Uh
you got to watch your ego because you used to get all the praise and you would get tagged on social media and everyone would say, thank you, you changed my life. And now you're going to get none of that. And the team's going to get it. And you got to be, again, keeping your ego in check because I honestly think the reason a lot of gym owners jump back in is the ego of the hero, right? I want to be there and I want to save the clients and I want to get that, praise, even though they might not consciously think that there is something in the back of your mind that's causing you to jump back in, and, not willing you to let it go and trade it to someone else.
yeah, and every hour you jump in, you're kind of robbing your team members of that experience and growth then.
Yes,
So it's like okay,
exactly.
cool. So let's switch gears then into like getting into lead generation, which you mentioned. So of course, if you are going to grow multiple locations or even just one, I think it's clearly evident that lead generation, having a consistent, reliable client acquisition system is the number one missing piece. It is the number one thing 99% of gym owners all know they need, yet somehow never end up getting around to doing it. So we know this is an area that you specialize in extremely well. And if you didn't, you couldn't possibly have six gyms in the first place.
Yes.
So going right back to the beginning, if you come from the perspective of the gym owner that you typically tend to work with, or the gym owner that typically comes to you for help, what kind of struggles do they usually have, and what do you advise them from there?
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake I say is everyone puts their business's health and future success all in the meta bucket. Like we have a good month on meta, we're crushing it. We have a bad month, we're struggling. And I think that is foolish. I think you should absolutely diversify and have many poles in the water and build campaigns around them all. A lot of times we're just lazy and we build a referral program once and we think our clients are thinking about it all the time or they're aware of it. And I promise you guys, they're not. They're very much thinking about their own life, their own problems. They're not thinking, what should I do today to help my gym owner down the street grow their business? You have to market these things. So, like quarterly, I had an internal play calendar as much as I had an external calendar. So the external is what you run on Meta, you post on social media, and you're showing this to your cold audience that's following you. My internal calendar, I rotate it through three R's every quarter, and it was referrals, reactivations, and reviews. So I just asked my clients and I designed like a clever hook of a referral. I tried to dress it up differently. I put lipstick on the pig so that it's not just putting my hand out asking for a referral. Sometimes I did a scratcher approach where I said, hey, who wants to win? I joke. I said, who wants to win $1 million was like the hook. And they're like, what? What the heck is this? I said, yeah, it could happen. Is it likely? No, but like it could. And so bring me a referral and I'll get you $50 in scratch off tickets. And it was a jackpot campaign is what I called it. And people, they just like this whole gambling kind of fun behind it. And I had the scratchers hanging out at the front desk and just, I would hand people and I'd get some big ticket $20 or $50 ones. I'd get some small $5. That was like me dreaming up how do I ask for referrals but keep it fun, right? And so that was an example. A reactivation was getting my past clients who were a member who canceled for whatever reason to come back to us. Like, some people call it a win back campaign, but things that I would do is I know it could be very like off-putting if it's just always like an offer and about money. So a lot of times I try to dress it up into an event and I say, hey, just come check out this event. We miss you. So if we did like a glute specialization workout on a Saturday, we call it, booty camp or glute camp. Hey, come to the glute camp. It's on me. Don't pay anything for it. We're bringing in a glute specialist to run this so you can really feel it in the glutes. Or we're bringing in a chiropractor, like I would just send them and we would be advertising tickets are $20, but like nobody paid that. I comped everyone, but you have to put a dollar value so that they take this event as, a valuable thing. So that would be a reactivation. And then a review is, obviously incentivizing people to give you a review. But the thing is, you don't want a very short review where it's like, love this place, great gym, best gym in town. That doesn't actually help you get seen by SEO and Google as much. It needs to be longer, it needs to be specific, and ideally it calls out your town. So, again, you could give them a template version that they can kind of modify, but you could say, hey, this is the best personal training studio in Dallas. They've helped me, lose X amount of pounds. And I work with Coach Susan all the time and she's awesome. Something that's like longer, more specific that really helps your reviews perform better. So that was my internal calendar and I would just rotate that. And every time we would try to think of a new angle, a new hook, a new way to ask for those three things. And that really amplifies your meta. Like if I'm going to get 70 or 80 people off meta, but I'm going to get another 20 to 30 people from my referrals, my past members that come back, and then reviews are just going to get me more organic search traffic. That's like my hidden, invisible engine that keeps the engine running. If meta's down or our card, changes and I didn't catch that, or the offer's not clicking with people, I have leads coming from another source. So I think that really helped us a lot. And again, this is more to my multi-location owners, but you can start then selling them the optionality to go to any location. And then that's when you have another unique factor that other gyms don't, right? So yeah, that's just a few ideas right there for you, Justin.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of experience showing through there with all those different things. So, gonna do a bit of a quick fire round. So you've got a gym owner comes to you, they don't have any consistent lead flow right now. What would you say to them are like the top three lead sources you would implement today in
Mhm.
order and like a quick tip on each of them?
Yeah, that's all. That's great. So, one, I would say it's kind of a hidden that most people don't tap enough is Facebook groups. I think local Facebook groups can absolutely feed your business. I actually grew my first gym, and I didn't even know Med at that time, off of just posting in Facebook groups nightly. I would train till 8 p.m. I'd sit down, have dinner with my wife, post. Again, I know these are the cheesy scripts that no one likes, but guys, they work. I'd say I'm looking for 5 women who want to go through a 6 week transformation. Comment below, me. I always want that word to be very short. Guys, I would get 20 to 30 comments every night. I'd be DMing them, and that would be my appointments for the next day. And I wouldn't get all of them. I'd get 5 to 10. And I would just rinse and repeat that. I did that for a year. I grew a gym to 60K off of Facebook groups. And I don't see any gym owners just do that basic thing. Some gym owners, I look at their profile and I don't see any post that they even own a gym. They don't even like own it and claim it and, like talk about it. And it's just, again, I know we can argue our profiles are for personal usage, but I'm like, why would you not want to use every competitive advantage to help you win in business? I pimped my Facebook profile out. It was out there trying to get me clients. So that's number one. And you could do Nextdoor, you can do Craigslist. There's a lot of different variations of that, but find something local, show up, be engaged, add value. And it wasn't always just a pitch. I would mix in lead magnets. I would try to get people to talk. I would talk about something kind of controversial to try to get like 100 comments. Like, hey guys, GLP-1s, what do you think about them? Good or bad? Comment below. I was just the go-to authority in the area on fitness. I was getting people talking about it, right? So that'd be number one. Obviously, number two, meta ads. Like that by far, I would
What a
say
day.
don't, yeah. Don't, here's the thing. Don't say they don't work. It's just your offer, your hook, your creative didn't work. They absolutely work. It's just can you continue to it's like your client, you get frustrated. They're like, the gym doesn't work. I'm lost. I'm over 40. My hormones are shot. My mom was overweight. I'll be overweight. You hear all these things and you're scratching your head saying, no, I'm sorry, my dear. You just had the wrong program. You had the wrong coach. Like, let me show you the way. That's the same thing with meta ads. So again, we've given a lot of tips on that, but you just need the right offer speaking to the right avatar, right? That's really the magic formula to make those work. Um, and then I would say the third is really making sure that you have a good referral program that isn't like again the basic ones that I hear like we'll give you $20 if you refer somebody like you got to dress it up, you got to make it exciting, and then you got to plan marketing campaigns to push it. It doesn't have to be long, it could be a week every quarter, but you will see a big drive come in. One of our most successful was also Friends and Family Week. Again, I used to do large group and then we morphed to small group, but it was large group. We just let everybody bring a guest for an entire week on this week. And it was the only time you could bring someone. Someone say, hey, can I bring someone Saturday? We're like, nope, only on Friends and Family Week. So when it happened, we got flooded, but my team was ready. We were ready to convert. We had a system dialed in and average would be 30 people that week, per location. So those are a few that I think would be my top three: referrals, local Facebook groups, and meta ads.
Fantastic. Awesome. Yeah. I'm actually something I've never actually shared this publicly yet, but something we've been testing recently, kind of one of those things by accident with referrals that's working really well for us. I haven't tested this at scale yet, but one thing we've just started doing is finding we're getting a lot of referral uptake from right at the beginning of the client journey. So
Mm,
what we're doing now is when we book the lead over the phone to come in for their, initial appointment, once we've locked it in, we've just started saying, "Oh, hey, who do you want to bring with you to the appointment? Do you want to bring someone else with you just for social support or like
advantage, yeah.
emphasis of And we're seeing like about half of the people are like, oh, can I bring someone? Right. And we're finding a lot of people do kind of want to bring someone. They just assume that they can't or it's not appropriate to
Yes.
say so. So we're just
Yes.
giving that permission and we just say, we don't say, do you want to bring someone? We're just saying, who would you like to bring with you? If you
Yes.
think about it, if people go to these the weight loss meetings, the weight loss clubs, they always want to go in twos and threes. So, and what we're finding then is so they come in then to the booking, we get two people come to an appointment. Um, but if we close someone at a consultation then, and then we're going to book them in for their onboarding meeting, if we haven't
Mhm.
generated a referral yet, we just invite them to bring someone again. So we're just inviting them to bring someone at every step in the system. So we have a
Yes.
consultation with someone, we close, we then book them in, we say, let's do your onboarding meeting this Saturday. Would you want to bring someone along that they can come along to check out the onboarding meeting and see how we do it? And then they
Mm,
usually bring someone to the onboarding meeting, right? So we're just finding that,
nice.
yeah, like just asking for referrals right off the bat is working really well for us right now. And it's one of these things we just kind of did by accident. And
I love it.
yeah, you
And
might
and
be testing
that
out in
I
your
would say you kind of upgraded the wording there. It's systemized referrals because what I think I was trying to articulate is just like when it happens referrals.
yeah.
Like I want you to
When
build a system. So what you said there is exactly what I would say is the right way to do it.
Yeah, like a point of sale system or it's scheduled in. Most gym owners are just doing it as and when they remember, right? But I love what you said as well about having for reactivation and referrals, having something to invite people to. I think
Yeah.
that's really key. I found the same thing rather than try and reactivate people into this offer, that offer. Instead, it's like, yeah, like, hey, we're doing this thing. Do you want to come along? And
Yes.
that's really important as well. And then on the content angle, yeah, I think it's really crazy with FitPros that, if they were trying to build an online business, they'd be posting 24/7. They'd be launching podcasts and
Mhm.
webinars. But then you say to the gym owner, go make three posts locally to promote yourself. And it's like they clamp up and can't do it. It's
Yes.
crazy, right? Um, everyone wants to be the next Hormozy, but nobody wants to make a reel. It's
Yes.
nuts.
And it's funny you say that because I had to learn to adjust. I guess, again, I had to go through a lot of mistakes, but just like a trainer, you have to learn to adjust your coaching to different personalities. I had to learn to coach gym owners who had different personalities. Because to your point, one idea near the tail end of my gym ownership, because I sold them all, after 13 years, but we actually had a podcast and we did it was just for local. We named it after our city, and all we did was interview clients, and we also interviewed local business owners because right then they get status. So like a client, do you want to have them invite just to workouts constantly, right? That's why you got to variety, put variety on there and like say, come to this event. They're doing a glute workout, and then it's like now they're doing a health and fitness fair, or now they're having a chiro come speak. So it's not just all folk workout focused. But then when you have them as a podcast guest, you could say, hey, check this out. I was on my gym's podcast. And then as long as you have some CTAs in there, but going back to what I was saying was I would give this golden idea to Jim, or guys, what are you doing? You got to have an internal podcast. And I quickly realized, like, all right, I had different skill sets. I'm trying to coach everyone like they're duplicates of Dustin, and I got to identify what are their strengths and give them marketing that they can go and execute on. And I can't just like blanket that everyone has the same skill sets as me, because as you can hear, I'm comfortable public speaking. I did group orientations, I did podcasts, I did lunch and learns. I was talking in front of people all the time, and it was definitely one of my strengths for growing my business. But a lot of people are not built like that. And no matter how hard I pushed them or how many great ideas I gave them, I just saw them not execute. And I realized I got to give them the stuff that works for them because they're just not, no matter how many times I say it, they're just not gonna do it. And I have to switch my coaching,
It's
direction.
different for
So
us. Me and you can do public speaking because we can wrestle in spandex in front of people, right? So
yes,
it's like
exactly. That
nobody.
was the crash course.
So we're like, speak to people. Why is that a
Yeah,
problem?
yeah, exactly.
Uh, awesome. Okay, so let's say the gym owners now they implement some of these strategies. They've got leads inquiring, right? Leads are coming in, but then
Yes.
one of the biggest things, I think probably the biggest bottlenecks in most businesses is going to be that gap from getting the lead has inquired. How do we then get them to engage and then show up for a phone call or an appointment of some sort? So it's that lead to booking system, right? And I'm sure you know, like you've seen that's the big problem for a lot of gym owners. So if a gym owner says I'm getting leads, people are following me, they're messaging me, they're opting in on my ads, but I just can't seem to get a response and I can't get them booked on my calendar. What's one of the first things you're going to say there?
Yeah, I mean, I have a whole framework around this that I call the fortune follow-up system. And basically, we've all heard that phrase, right? The fortunes in the follow-up. But essentially, there's going to be a few things. Number one, you want to make sure that you let the person have personalized follow-up, which means yes, you're using their name, but you're also letting them use the channel of their choosing. One thing that I have found in just the last year is starting the conversation. Do you want to continue this conversation on text or do you want to jump on a call? And we get way more full, full throughput when you let them sit in the driver's seat and decide how we're going to continue to engage. Because, like, again, I know all the gurus are like, call him, call him, call him. What if I'm at work and I'm on my lunch and I opted into your thing and I don't want to talk in the break room? Or what if I'm at my kid's practice and I can, kind of just chat with you via text? Like people have preferred forms of communication. And so even this was a big aha that I had to teach my team last year was because someone opts out of one, I do not even mark them off as a lead until they mark out of two forms of communication. So they would opt in and opt out, and I would say, guess what? I'm the same way. I hate being text marketed too. I opt out of everything. I have zero text marketing that I allow. I like emails because I can read more. They usually give you more. They give you visuals. And I do like to take calls and get on phone calls or Zoom calls. But I despise text marketing as a consumer. I see the power of it and I use it all the time in our business and how we help gym owners. But I think giving people the ability to choose their own adventure. Do they want to talk on email? Do they want to talk on a phone call? Do they want to come in? Do they want to text with you? So that would be number one that I feel like is a little bit more groundbreaking and less people are talking about is let them pick how they want to continue. The second is you want to ask really interesting questions. I think everyone's kind of beaten up the same old questions like, do you live in the area? What's your goals? Have you ever worked with a gym? Fitness, for the most part, has been around long enough, all these coaching gyms, that almost everyone has been to a coaching gym and had a coaching experience. So we got to get out of that, like we're activating first timers and more about we're probably taking a refugee from another gym to your gym at this point. And whatever reason they didn't enjoy it or they were over it and they're ready for doing something new. So again, I would try to really ask more engaging questions because I find that the old tired questions, like they're just not working the way they used to. And so asking things like, hey, if you can wave a magic wand, what would you change about your health and fitness, right? And you don't immediately go with body goals because they might not have a body goal. It might be like get off medication, it might be have more confidence. I framed it that way on purpose, right? What do you want to change about your health and fitness if you had a magic wand? That gets people to kind of dream, right? We want that dream. And then you almost want to switch at some point to like a medical kind of person because we always talk about the prescriptive sales process. And I like to then ask some medical questions too. So do you have any injuries or are you on any medication that I should know about? And now they start thinking of you as a higher level coaching experience because not the regular gyms are asking that. They're like, what time can you come in? Let's get going. Let's get you into a class. And so by putting a little bit of these more like deeper questions, I tend to notice that people respond more and you get a higher reply rate when you're asking them really interesting questions, right?
These are like in
So
your texts or DMs.
yep. Yep. Just the first two to three. And if you get a low reply rate, I always say that's feedback to us that we're asking crappy questions because people want to talk to you. And if you're like, man, we sent this to 100 people, one person responded, change the question, keep testing it, but make it like ask yourself, would I engage with this? And a lot of times we speed through things just to get it done. but we're not really literally looking at every step and saying, is this the best work that I could do? Or could it be better? Is this the best work? Down to every single question, right? So yeah, like that would be the second thing is ask better questions. And then the third is to provide education. I think when I'm coaching someone on content, they usually fall into one of three camps that all start with an E. It's education, like, did you know this? Did you know that? This is a good tip about fitness forms, a good tip about nutrition. You're the teacher. Entertainment is all the goofy, reels that we see right now where people are, just following trends that are popular and they're doing their own version, which I love. It does get you attention. And I do think that you should do that. And so essentially the big thing that I would say is throw in there content, like that is to your strength. If you are not an entertainer, don't do the education. If you're an educator, don't do the entertainment, right? I tend to feel more trainers and gym owners fall in that inner or educator camp and they should go that route. But tell them something they didn't know, right? And show value on the front end because most follow-up sequences is buy my stuff and there's zero value. And value comes from like teach me something I didn't know. And then, like essentially like you could do it through entertainment, you could do it through education. Forgetting my 30, but the 30 is around inspiration, right? Like, oh, sorry, it's encouragement. So like this is where you tell stories, you make people feel empowered, like motivate them. Like that's the third type of content you see out there. And so most people are going to do best with education. So they should layer that into their follow-up. And they could be quick. You don't have to make them long. It could be a 1 minute reel you filmed. If you're video friendly, you can write it. You can give away PDFs, but like pay attention to your give and ask ratio. If you're over asking and you're not giving anything, it does start to feel like a one-sided relationship. And I was always really big into, as we do webinars for gym owners, I did webinars for my local area on like, the 5 trainer secrets on how to lose weight. And I'd invite my whole email list. I just got to jump on Zoom and I can make a quick slide presentation. That's value, right? PDF magnets. Anything that you want to give away that's free value, it really helps the lead nurture to perform better. So yeah, that's that.
Cool. So you're talking about like adding in one of your text follow-ups would be like, hey, here's, quick link to this post or this
Yes,
article or this freebie thing.
exactly.
Just
Yep.
giving inside of your lead nurture sequence rather than just asking them to
Yes.
talk to
And
me, engage with me,
yeah,
answer my
yeah.
questions, follow my script.
Once One thing that also really helps the health of the deliverability of your text, and email lists is to get engagement through replies. If go high level or eye contact, every time you're sending, you get no replies, it starts to think you're spam. It's like there's a reason these people are not replying to you. So a good benefit of sending out a lead magnet and say reply with the word secret is you get 100 replies and you're signaling to the email list, these people are interested in what I'm offering. See, like make sure I keep getting in their inbox. So it's a good health booster to send out a couple things a month that is meant to just get replies. You don't immediately give them the link, you require an engagement and then you give them the link. It's just a good health booster for your whole list. So again, that's another secret behind that.
Really, really good tip there. Yeah, getting that white label, like the white list response is really good.
Exactly.
Typical ways we'll do that is just by saying like, hey, reply that I've got the right contact number or,
That's
you
another one
know,
that works. Yes.
something like that. Yeah. But I think what you're talking about here is a lot more powerful and like it gives more value as well. So cool.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say now we're getting leads. We've covered that. Now the leads are engaged, right? They're warmed up. They're replying, yes, I'd like to take this to a phone call, or yes, I'd like your free PDF. So
Mhm.
now we have engaged leads. What's the next bridge to cross for a gym owner to get those people then on the calendar,
Yeah.
booked in for a serious conversation?
Yeah, and this is where I might differ from you, Justin, so feel free to chime in and show another way, but I am just not the biggest fan as time has gone on for free appointments. I like a paid dollar down appointment. It just shows skin in the game, it weeds out tire kickers, but I also am a big fan of making it so absurdly valuable that the price is insignificant. I think where people do this wrong is they just say, "Hey, it's $10 for a consultation," which no one wants to pay for, or a meeting or an appointment, All these are like bad words in my opinion to charge for. Internal lingo, you can say that to your team or whatever, but externally, that doesn't convey value. So like I like something like a blueprint, right? We're going to do a fitness blueprint, or we're going to do a transformation roadmap, something where I'm going to give you something whether you work with me or not. So the way that I kind of bundle these is somewhere between $10 to $20. You will get a sample session. So you could get them into your session and give them a full workout, or for my personal trainer minded people, that's usually an assessment. And I'm going to give you a taste of what it's like to work with me. I'm not going to do a full hour. This is usually 15 to 20 minutes. You are going to move, but it's not going to be, full blown workout. Then we're going to do a goals analysis. You can do in body, you can talk to them about their goals, but we're going to just kind of get a better picture of where you are health wise, right? Like the first one's movement and fitness wise. Then I want to understand your health. Like what is your body fat percentage? What's your nutrition look like? What supplements are you on? And then the third layer is a physical document, again, an actual blueprint or map that you have like a stack of them at your desk and you fill them out. And this is value that you give them, that you're literally giving them the keys to the kingdom. If you take this and execute on it, you don't need me. But I know in the back of my mind, there's a reason you're here. You do need professional coaching. And so the way we frame it is to the client, you're going to get those three things. And even if you don't work with us, we will refund you or we'll roll that over to your program, right? And so there's no loss. And that's the risk-free guarantee is like you're going to get your money back. We will refund your card on file or we'll apply it. You're going to go either way. You're going to sign up or you're not. And that's the safety net to why it's like, wow, for $10, I'm going to get assessed. I'm going to get in-body scanned and understand my metabolism. And then you're going to give me a full 1 year roadmap. And this is a printed document I can take with me and leave. And it's $10. Now the value is extreme and nobody's going to fight you about paying that. And so on that, again, it's your classic quarterly EOS kind of approach to goals. You write their 1 year goal, you break it down into quarterlies, and then underneath that, you write their weekly habits that you are prescribing. And I just had a visual that I would, print it on Canva and I printed out 100 of them. And that's what my trainers would sit down. It's very logical. It's easy for them to do, but everybody does honestly get a customized or personalized plan, right? And so it's like, if you work with us, we're just going to hang this up and we're going to look at it every 90 days. If you don't work with us, free gift, take it. There you go. Sign up at the gym down the road. Call us if you ever get stuck. So that is kind of what we do differently to just get rid of no shows. We have an 80 to 90% show rate when someone is paying. So again, I also understand skill set is required. Like this takes someone who's very confident and they can explain it as well as I did. So if I'm like an entry level gym owner, early years trainer, and I can't say these things as well as I did, that's where I might push someone to go free because it's like you don't have the reps, you don't have the communication skills. But in a perfect world, this is what I would have you be doing is a paid appointment. I just feel like it just squashes so many problems that we encounter rather than trying to figure out a better way to word it or send video follow up or send many reminders or offer them a free water bottle. It's literally the big answer is just $10 paid on a credit card. All that goes away. They show up and they're ready to be attentive. So that's just, a silver bullet that I wanted to give if it can help someone out there.
Sounds really good. And so, then do you recommend the gym owners? Are you then, booking these consultations, paid deposit or free? Are you then recommending they do that like over the phone call, or are you seeing equal measure just doing it via chat messages? Or again,
Yep,
is it down
both.
to their skill set, or what the customer wants? What are you seeing with that?
Yeah. So yeah, we average a 35% booking rate is kind of where we're landing right now. And then we get a 80 to 90% show rate and then an 80 to 90% close rate. And the only difference was that deposit system. And I didn't want to make it so high that it's a barrier, but you want to make it so that really somebody, if they're doing the act of getting their card out, that's what we're really after. I mean, you could honestly do $1, you could do $5, but that act alone is what I find the difference between someone that's just price shopping and wasting your time and someone who's serious and wants real help. And that's all I tried to observe as time went on is like, what was the difference between my best clients and my worst clients? And actually, it was not that my best clients paid me. It's that they paid me sooner and faster. That was the big aha that I had, is that the person that didn't flinch, that told me that they value fitness and that they're willing to invest in their fitness. And the person who's delaying, wait, let me price shop around. Let me look online. Let me explore my options. Like there's all this like delay, waiting. That was my worst client. I did not want to work with them. So I identified, how do I identify if they're a speedy, ready to buy sooner and who's a delayer? It's ask for some small amount of money up front and see how they respond. And that really helped me and, a lot of gyms that we work with. So, yeah, but to your point, where are we seeing that? Yes, we have an AI chatbot. It is collecting that, no problem, with people in the chat, but then also on the phone. And you just got to convey the way that I did earlier what they're getting. Because the one thing you don't want to do is just say $10 for an appointment, $10 for a consult. It will fail miserably. You have to, like, as you heard me say, you got to get excited about all the things you get and almost say, I can't believe the owner's doing this. This is crazy. We're going to assess you. We usually charge, $50 just for a movement assessment. We're going to give you that. Then we normally charge $40 to get you on an in-body scan. It's going to tell you all about your metabolism, how much is fat, water, how many calories you need to eat, so you know exactly what you can do if you don't work with us. Then we have these cool printed blueprints that you could take with you to the gym, and we're going to give that to you. And I can't, it's $10. Like, this is crazy. Like, that's the big thing, is you got to convey that this is a great deal, because they don't know what a good deal is, right? They're a non-fitness person, or they're just, you have to show them how excited you are, right? And that's salesmanship.
Yeah, it's like a standalone product you could just sell. And I'm thinking about that. It's interesting because a lot of our gyms we incorporate like the hybrid, like trainerized remote coaching options and things now.
Yes,
And that seems like an easy pivot to sell into that. So,
absolutely.
they've got the program. If they don't or can't pay for the full coaching experience with you, then you've got
Now
that
you're onto
nice in
something.
between of like, well, why don't
Yes,
you just come back in once a week? You've got the plan. We'll coach you how to do it at any gym of your choice. And then you come once a
yes.
week for a check-in, and that's only, 250 bucks a month or something.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
that's great.
um,
Yeah, that's an ultimate downsell right there, is online coaching and or hybrid. So love it.
yeah, plays really well off of that. Okay, so for the last few minutes then, let's shift gears over to client experience because I know you've got a lot to share with that as well.
Mm,
So I guess for client experience then, yeah, why don't you just, I'll just give you the floor. You just tell us like what you mean by client experience, where or what problems or mistakes are gym owners making with this, and how is this the fix?
yeah. And and so beyond just me having six, I was always very good friends with the gym owners near me and went and visited their locations. Sometimes they'd even bring me in to coach their team, just because you know how it is. Like, you start to become white noise to your team, and you might tell them to do something, and then this third party comes in and they say, "Aha, I want to start doing this thing. I watched this video that this expert said, or I went to this event," and like, and you start to learn, like, okay, this is a fool's game for me to just be, always trying to be the grandmaster. I need to send my team content that will get them to do what I've wanted them to do. Or I need to bring in a guest speaker sometime. Like, it's still good for you to be shown as an authority, but for whatever reason, we get more excited by some far off grandmaster that's not in our
I
backyard.
know. I
It's
can do I
really
can do 2
weird.
hours of sales training with my team and they're like, whatever. Then the next day
Yes.
they're like, look at this Hormozy video, closer formula.
Yep.
Have you heard of
There you
that? I'm
go.
like, it's literally what I
And
taught you for 2 hours yesterday. They're like, can
yes.
we
And
watch the
and
Hormozy video? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Go ahead.
and even as a trainer, like, I was getting hundreds of people every week results, but my mom would rather listen to Oprah and Dr. Oz and go out and run down to the vitamin store because he said to buy this magical. I was like, I own a gym and I'm helping people lose hundreds of pounds. Like, come on down, mom. But like, I'm the neighborly expert and this far off expert knows more, right? So anyways, what I realized is I would train my team, but when I would really stress test my system, is a system that my team can train my team. And that's when things really were allowed us to scale. And I just got it down to three words that we're always trying to check the box on. It's results, relationship, and community. If these three boxes are being checked, we will have sticky, highly retained clients, and we will grow the business. When someone cancels, I always say one of these three words are the blame. And so results, we all are, smart on what that looks like, how we need to train someone in the gym, what they should be eating. So I'm not going to, stand on a soapbox and tell you guys how to get people results. But what I would say is anywhere in existence a session standard, right? Like you can see it so plainly when you go to a restaurant. The manager walks around with a checklist and they test the temperature of the food and they go look under the table if there's any gum and they look at all the team members and make sure their uniform's correct and they go look at the window and they're literally checking off things. This is like part of a manager's to do is to just do a quality check throughout the restaurant. But for some reason that doesn't exist in fitness. Does the manager ever sit down and watch the coaches literally just for that purpose and check them and grade them on all the things that you want done, right? Did they say the client's names? Were they speaking loudly and clearly? Did they give good, easy to understand coaching cues? These are all the things that were on my coaching standard checklist because we can kind of just say these vague phrases like they don't do it like me, or I wish they'd give the clients a better experience. I wish they would really get hands on. But like the team can't execute unless you literally get it down to specifics, right? And so we would have that on a checklist, and that's what the manager would have to sit down once a month with every trainer and watch them and then give them feedback on what they're doing well and what they weren't were needing improvement on. And it was things like they needed to say their every client's name 3 times, right? Come on, Susan. Good, push hard on those push-ups. One more. Come on, you can do this, Susan. Hey, great job today. High five, Susan. Like that was expected. You had to hear each client's name 3 times in a session. Another example, which again, I won't go through the whole list, but we did, a goodbye compliment. So we would literally hold the door open for you as you're leaving, and we would high five, and you'd have to say a personalized shout out to that person. Hey, great job on the goblet squat today. You were getting deeper than I've ever seen you. Hey, nice job. You brought the energy. And, again, try to make it personalized and make the person seen. And especially if you're doing 6-on-1, you can give 6 compliments. Like this is easy for semi-private. We did this for group training. We're talking 20 to 30 people, and I was able to get humans to do this. So if you're doing 4-on-1, 6-on-1, this is like cake, right? And then the final thing is we would give out a $100 gift card every month to somebody who gave a wow experience that was remarked on. And so examples were somebody would hold the umbrella when it's raining and literally walk clients to their car. Or another one was a client had a car have a tire pop, and our team went and changed their tire because it was the end of the morning block. They didn't have any sessions. Like so, they went over and they got her spare out and they popped it up and got her a new tire. And she posted about she took a photo of them laying under the car and doing it like would your gym do this, right? That was the tagline we were trying to go for is like my gym is better than your gym and does your gym do this? And if the clients use that, you could be in the running to win a $100 gift card. So like notice that none of it is about what was programmed, what exercise selection, what equipment we had. It's all how you make someone feel when you say my name, when you give me a personalized compliment, when I feel like you're like my extended parents that if I'm away from home and something goes wrong, you will be there for me. This is what I mean by client experience, right? So then why does this have to do with results? People are going to work their tail off for you when they feel like you see them, right? And when they feel like you care about them. They will push themselves to the max, and that's what gets them those amazing results. Relationships, we want them to not just have one relationship. That's always been the danger of one-on-one personal training. It's one relationship, and if for whatever reason that relationship goes south, one person starts acting weird, they take off and go somewhere else, right? And so like my goal was like I thought like Spider-Man. I want to get that spider web of relationships all throughout the whole gym. So I wanted you to know 3 trainers max. I wanted you to have a friend within 30 days in your session or somewhere in the community. And I would try to find ways to get people connected. So if I heard someone was getting married, I would try to connect them with the hairstylist client or the one that if someone's trying to buy a house, I connect them with my realtor that was a client. If someone's griping about their taxes, I would try to go connect them with the CPA that was a client. Like I would literally listen for problems and find an excuse that 2 people need to meet. And if one was a morning client and the other was an evening client, I'd put them in a 3-way text. But like that's that spider web where you're treating your gym like a chamber of commerce. No one wants to leave that because it's way more valuable than just a workout. They're like, I got friends, I make business connections. Dustin's always out solving my problems. Like, how could I ever cancel it, right? And I know a lot of this stuff sounds like unscalable, but I promise you, if you incentivize your team, they will do it just like you. the reason that a lot of people, employees work like employees is they're paid like employees. They're paid an hourly and they're not incentivized in any way to go above and beyond. So create a budget for people who go above and beyond and give them bonuses, right? Because they want to earn more. You just got to incentivize that. And then last is community. So community is just creating live events in your gym. One of the most popular ones was we would have an annual health and fitness fair. So I'd have all the businesses that were complementary to us set up in our gym. So we create like a horseshoe size kind of setup. So it'd be a chiropractor, tanning salon, med spa. They're all there. What happens? They're all posting about this event on their social media. So I'm borrowing their audience.
Those are your
And then
clients' businesses?
it could be, or it could be just
Or
someone that I made a
oh,
partnership
okay, right,
relationship
yeah.
with. Yeah. But yeah, obviously, I would definitely go to my clients first and say, you get first dibs because I only got room for 10 booths. You guys get first dibs. Who wants one? I would say the only caveat, it had to be a health and fitness business. If you got a pest control, I don't want you at the health and fitness fair. So that definitely happened. And what I would ask is every vendor, I said, no booth fee. You just have to give me a gift that I can raffle off because every 20 minutes we're gonna get on the mic in the gym and we're gonna raffle off. And as people arrive, we give everybody like 3 tickets and we're like, hey, and there's a little stamper. If you go get a stamp from each booth and hear their pitch, you get another 3 extra tickets. So you got a lot of tickets in the bowl. And then every 20 minutes, like, hey, here's a free massage from so and so, and like, here's a free tanning salon, and for us, here's a free month at my gym, and like people would want to hang out there for 2 or 3 hours, but now they're taking selfies, they're posting about it. I'm getting all those health and fitness vendors to bring me their audience, and they're posting about it, and that is where you're involved in the community, right? We would also tend to be the official warm-up crew for any 5K or 10K in the city. I would just say we'll do it for free. We would just give me the mic, let me stand in front of everyone. I would obviously give them a pitch and then say, let's get warmed up for our 5K. So that's community. Where we would run these runs where nowadays it's the high rocks, but back then it was more like Tough Mudder and all these other obstacle course races. We would make sure we'd get a matching shirt. Like if our colors are black and gold, everyone's wearing black and gold, so we almost look like a gang. And it made people say, "Who are them? Man, they look cool. Like they're all doing a group warm up and they're saying a bunch of chants together. Like I want to be on a part of a group like that. Like so that's how we did communities. We went and did events together. We did life together, and that's the 3 boxes you got to check. If anybody ever cancels, I would go through that filter with your system. Were they getting results? How many relationships did they have? And literally write a number. Did they only know one person here? That's why they canceled. They didn't know enough people. And then did they have a sense of community? Were they engaged in the community? Because you can build it, but if you never are able to suck them in, they never experienced that third leg, right? They were outside of your community. You got to get them in and active. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer there.
Fantastic. Yeah, like so much stuff there. So, and you can definitely see how that doing that experience, it's going to get the client retention, it's going to get a ton of referrals.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
a lot of LTV is going to come from that. And everything plays into this, right? So if you're doing all that experience stuff, you're going to keep the clients a long time, you're going to generate more referrals, you're not going to lose anyone. And that means, you can go to your marketing and you can pay money into ads, you can do whatever. You're going to make so much profit on any client you acquire if you've got all those back end systems in place.
Yes.
People don't realize that they think that having a good marketing budget or profitable advertising is about money math or gym math and all the to an
Yes.
extent it is, but really it comes down to if you're doing the things you're talking about, if like you've captured that LTV and once they're in, they're not going anywhere. You can
Hmm.
literally go to Facebook and spend whatever you want on advertising, and you're going to make all that
100%.
money back.
Yes.
You'll be able to afford the most to get the customers because the LTV is baked in pretty much. Uh,
Yeah. At the end of the day, you're just trying to build a tribe because I feel like when you're a kid, you get sports, and then when you become an adult, you got nothing, right? There's no real tribe that you get to be a part of. There's elements like church or if you got a little friend circle, but everyone craves that tribe that's more physical, like you're doing something physically together. And so like for non-athletes, they always like wished on a star that they would get that experience one day. That's the cool thing we provide as gyms. We allow regular people to kind of feel what it's like to be on a competitive team and hang out with the cool kids, if you know, is a way of putting it. But that's really it. Just make people feel value and welcome them into their tribe that they've been looking for.
Awesome. All right. Well, we've covered loads there. There's loads more I want to ask you, but we can save that for another day. So yeah, thanks for sharing so much, Liz. We're gonna.
Yes.
So lastly, then, from here, if any gym owners are struggling with this stuff, where can they, if they want to learn more, where can they find you? And what are the main kind of solutions you offer to gym owners?
Yeah. Yeah. Happy to help. So, again, Gym Reinforcements is the name of the company, gymreinforcements.com if you want to, book a call. But the main two things we do is we generate leads on Meta, and then we have a call center, an AI bot that follows up with those leads with a 5-minute speed to lead guarantee. Because we know you can do it. And I do think it's valuable for every gym owner to do it to see what it good looks like. But just like coaching, at some point you got to eventually hand it off to someone else and know how to like quality check them. So when you're in that stage and you're ready, I know our team will do a good job. Again, we average a 35% booking rate. We've collected $40 million for gym owners since 2020, which is when we started the company. So yeah, would love to help you guys out. Yeah, gymreinforcements.com. And if you guys enjoyed this podcast, come check out my podcast, Reinforce Your Gym. Justin was a recent guest, so you can go back and listen to his story, his tips, and very active on Instagram too. Just search up Dustin Bogle and I'll be right there.
Awesome. All right, Dustin, great to have you. And yeah, we'll definitely have you back again to share more. We can go into so many more topics and talk about more wrestling.
Let's do it, man.
Otherwise, go check out Dustin's stuff. And yeah, thanks so much. It's been great.
Thank you, sir.